That's okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here this evening. I am so excited to share with you an amazing opportunity, an amazing story to hopefully inspire you to say yes. What are we saying yes to? We're saying yes to a better life. We're saying yes to a better version of you. We're saying yes to you becoming the person that you desire, that you have that burning desire that's like, man, when I was a kid, I wanted to do this and this and that. Or when I'm in my 60s, I'm going to retire and have a big retirement party and enjoy life, right? Or sooner. Yeah, I know, Dana, we're talking about you. And you know what? The crazy thing, all of us in this team used to be strangers. At some point, we were strangers. I happen to know Debbie personally because of her beautiful daughter, and we worked in the same gym back in the days when we had a job. But you know what we do is we're on a mission to impact lives. So why not yours? How are we doing that? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to go ahead and well, I'm going to share my screen. That's not what I wanted to share. Why is it not sharing what I need to share? No, that's definitely not what I wanted to share. All right. Whew. Bear with me, guys. Share screen. This is where I'm going. And share. All right. Before I show you the Man of Steel, I'm going to talk to you about an amazing company called Isogenics. And this incredible company has brought this team together, complete strangers that became friends, that became family. This man you're about to hear share his story tonight, you've probably heard him before if you are a regular for the last, you've been a regular for the last year, but if you haven't, stick around. This gentleman actually showed up at my vow renewal a couple of months ago, and we got to hang out for a day, and it's just, he used to be a stranger. I would have never met this gentleman if it hadn't been for this company called Isogenics. And what do? Well, we, just like I said, we believe that everyone deserves to experience a happy, joyful, and abundant life. And just wait and see his definition of happy, joyful, and abundant on so many levels, right? And well, how do we do that? We do that through the art of well-being. And the art of well-being, we believe, is about crafting the new experiences, making healthier choices, and belonging to better communities. That's what I was trying to get to. This community. I'm so excited. I love each and every one of you. And I love this incredible man. And I'm going to go ahead and I didn't even write him a bio because I know it in my heart. He is the Man of Steel. He is the one and only. He's retired from the U.S. Navy. And I'm like, yes, I got this. And it's his birthday. And he is getting a retirement party really soon with all his amazing family. He is a private investigator, and he kicks butt. But you know what? This guy right here didn't kick as much butt. And I'm going to be honest with you. He didn't kick butt. He had a job where he was sitting on his butt a lot, didn't kick much butt. But then he became this guy. And I tried so hard to find a picture of him when he was a Spartan race, but I couldn't. So I just put together a few pictures, and look at that face. Look at that face. That's all I got to say, right? So imagine this guy and what he felt like then, and he'll tell you before I go into that. And not only did he lose 100 pounds himself, his daughter also lost 100 pounds. They're both part of the 100-pound club. They're both incredible, amazing people. And here, look, they're having fun now. They're not sitting on their butts anymore. And when he runs, he also kisses dogs. And he loves the neighborhood. He rides the bike. He's become this beam of light that every time I watch a video or a TikTok from this guy, I just want to go out and run. but I don't always. So with that being said, Dana, I would love for you to unmute yourself and share with us what Isogenics has done for you, other than introduce you to all of us and brighten our day. I want to know what it's done for you and your family. So take it away, handsome.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Christina. And I love that you gave me a blank canvas to work from because that's when I do my best. All right. You didn't put me in some sort of box. So this is my fourth time I've been on here. They've had me on here to talk about weight loss. I've talked about performance, athletics, and I've talked about business building because those are three big things in this style. And one today, reverse aging, because I just turned 60. And when I was going around the base today to do my checkout sheet, because I'm retiring this month. Yeah, I'm retiring at age 60. And I'm going to go from being a part-time network marketing professional to full-time. Because in my actual job, I work as a criminal investigator. And for 20 years, I've been having to hold people accountable, when they commit frauds against the government. And it stopped being fun because that's a necessary job, but you don't get the same satisfaction as you get sharing health and wellness and well-being with people. That's super rewarding. So I'm going to I went from having a military career to a federal criminal investigator career, and now I'm going to evolve into sharing wellness. Chapter 3 at age 60. And as I was checking out, people are going, wait, Dana, you're retiring? I'm like, yeah. And they go, dude, how freaking old are you? And I go, well, actually, it's my birthday today. I'm 60. No one believes it. And that's because for 3.5 years, I've been doing this system and I've become a product of the products. So let's go back a little bit to how did Dana get to age 60 retiring and be this dynamic guy, with this crazy nickname, Man of Steel and all that? Well, before I got into Isogenics, I had a great career in the United States Navy. Spent 22 years there, retired as a Navy senior chief. I worked in law enforcement and I was a master at arms. So I worked on SWAT teams. I led SWAT teams. I fought in Desert Storm. I've been to a Korean airline crash where 200 something people died and we helped rescue the survivors out of it. I mean, I have done some crazy things and I've shared these things with Gina and some other people on our team. And people are like, wow, what a career. And I'm like, yeah. So I was always this like leader and all my family and everyone, had a lot of respect for me. In fact, after I retired, people still call me senior. They don't call me Danny, they call me senior. And I take this job working as a federal criminal investigator. And suddenly I went from having all this accountability to zero. So you go through this kind of like rebellious stage. You ever seen anybody retire from the military and they grow long hair and they get all this facial hair and stuff, It's this weird stage you go through because you're like, hey, no one's making me cut my hair no more and making me shave. Well, for me, the sedentary job that I had sitting behind a computer, doing long hours of surveillance, where sometimes we're sitting in the car for like 8 or 9 hours and we skip breakfast. We eat fast food all day. And so we're eating crappy, not moving. What do you think starts happening? You start putting on some weight. So next thing you know, I go from size 30 pants to 32, and then we jump up to 34, and you're like, that's it. We will not go past 34-inch waist. I swear. I'm going to skip breakfast from now on. That's how I'm going to fix that. Then I get to 36, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a size 36 pants. 38. I'm wearing triple X shirts. I'm like, I got to the point where I just shopped and I didn't care what it looked like as long as it fit. I stopped caring about that part of my appearance. Worse than that, you start getting into self-deprecating humor. Guys at my work started joking around about how big I was getting. And so they would start cracking jokes. And next thing you know, you join in with them because that's how you can, I guess, kind of mentally cope with what you're going through. So next thing you know, I'm like, yeah. And I work in FICA. That's the name of it. And I was like, hey, I'm getting a FICA belly. And I would brag about it. But inside, I was not happy. I felt awful. I was embarrassed. Felt like I'd let my kids down. felt like I let my family down. And that was tearing me up. When they wouldn't go, hey, dad, let's go do something. We're all going to go to the beach. I would make an excuse not to go. When it came time to take pictures, it was funny because when I first joined Isogenics, they said, hey, Dana, break out some old pictures of yourself. Well, for several years, the only pictures of me were from here up. I would cut out pictures that showed my body. I would grab somebody when photographs were being taken and stick them in front of me so I could hide behind them. A grandkid, my wife, someone. Or I would volunteer to be a photographer. What better way to stay out of pictures, right? And then one day my mom said, Dana, I see all these pictures on Facebook, but you're never in them. And she said, honey, why aren't you in any of these pictures? And I said, Mom, somebody's got to take the picture. I'm the photographer. But I wasn't fooling my mom. Your mom knows when you're not being upfront with them. So my mom knew. So I go through this thing for several years. I'm depressed, but outside I'm trying to be the happy guy, happy-go-lucky, loving life. But no, not inside. You're torn up, especially if you've been somebody who'd been fit once before. One day I get on Facebook and I see my sister, and she's 10 years younger than me, and she looks like she just got out of freaking high school. She looks knocked down gorgeous. And I'm talking about my sister, Raina, who's also on our team. And so I call her up. I'm like, hey, Raina, wow, you look incredible. You and your husband, Chris. I mean, what are you guys doing? And she starts telling me about Isogenics. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, you drank a shake thing, but I mean, how often you guys go in the gym? I mean, what are you guys doing? And she said, no, that's what we're doing. We're doing a nutritional system. I'm like, yeah, but how did you lose the weight? I could not in my brain. I wouldn't let her talk. I kept cutting her off. I was like, no. I want to know what you did to lose weight, because I couldn't believe that nutrition was going to help me lose weight. In fact, you know what kills me? When I was on active duty in the Navy, when people get overweight and we call them out of standards, they would send them to people like me to get them back in standards. You know what we did? We PT'd their butts off. We thought more push-ups, more running, more cracking the whip on these guys was what they need to lose weight. You know how much we focused on nutrition? That much, because we didn't understand the value of it. So as my sister kept explaining, I spent about a month of skepticism. It's naturally, when you're in law enforcement, you always believe like, okay, what's the angle? Come on, it can't be nutrition. You've got to be doing something else. I finally said, you know what the heck? They got a 30-day money back guarantee. And my wife said, okay, yeah, you need to do this, honey, because you've tried all that other stuff. I mean, you did Slim Fast and Weight Watchers and all these other kind of fad things. Maybe this could be the thing. And you know what? Get Julie to do it. Now, for years, my daughter had been overweight. And you saw those pictures. Julie had been overweight pretty much her whole life, since she was 7. My wife used to tell me, you gotta watch our daughter. She's fat. You gotta tell her. And I'm like, what do I tell her? I'm fat too. Have you not noticed? I'm like, how am I going to go up and tell somebody they need to lose weight when I'm 250 pounds? So I couldn't. So I called Julie. I'm like, Julie, hey, I'm going to join this wellness thing and order some products or whatever. Do you want to join me? Julie's like, okay, yeah, Dad. And I go, I'll pay for your, first month or two. She goes, okay. When Julie tells the story, she always says, yeah, my dad calls me up and goes, hey, you want to join some program to lose weight? And she goes, I'm thinking, wow, my dad thinks I'm fat. And then Julie laughed. She goes, I was fat. I was 264 pounds. So yeah, I needed to do this. Well, we start doing it. And I am telling you, this program is phenomenal. And when you follow it the way it's designed, and when you listen to your coaches and you take the information that's provided, this company gives you so much information. By the second week, Julie and I would come over to the house, and I kid you not, we sounded like two little schoolgirls on recess talking about all of the cute boys they met that day. Like, and we were like talking so fast because of all the crazy energy we had. My wife would go bonkers. Celia would be like, oh, okay, you guys are driving me crazy. I'm going into another room. And we could not calm down. It's just, you have so much energy. I started waking up before my alarm clock would go off. I get up at 4 o'clock every day. At 3:55, I'm like, bang, whoa, I'm awake. Get out of bed. And I'm like, I don't have any brain fog. I don't need to run to the coffee pot and drink down like, 2 gallons of coffee. I'm awake. And then I started noticing like clothes started getting loose. Next thing you know, I looked like MC Hammer wearing those damn parachute pants at work because I didn't want to go buy new pants. And as I was getting tighter and tighter, I had this crazy belt thing going on. I kept poking the loops down. I even got a knife out and started digging more holes in my belt because I was such a cheap ass. I didn't want to go buy another belt because I kept saying the weight is falling off me. I'm going to be buying belts. So I used that belt till it looked crazy. I had like 8 or 9 inches of belt hanging off. It almost went around me 2 times. My pants, like I said, were falling off of me. My secretary at week 5 is like, okay, Dana, what are you doing? I'm like, what? She goes, you look like the cat that just swallowed the canary. So what do? I shared. I told her what I'm doing. And you know how good that feels? I, I didn't go to school for 10 years to become a doctor or a nurse like Miss Gina Van Dorn, and get all that great medical study and help people when they're sick. I went to 2 years of college. And I was so dumb I had to go join the Navy, right? So I got to feel the closest thing I ever got to feel in life about helping people, short of pulling them out of burning airplanes and car wrecks and stuff. This is changing people's lives. You know how rewarding and fulfilling that is? So you go from fixing yourself, because they say, you can't, work from an empty cup. You can't help someone else until you learn to love yourself first. That's what you learn in this community. And so we started dropping weight. I mean, stuff was falling off. We lost phenomenal weight. Julie and I, at the end of that year, we started, like in March of 2018, had both lost 100 pounds. We actually only went all the way to 110 pounds. I mean, I was so small. I was wearing kid-sized pants. My wife would go in the store and go to child section and find 28-inch waist pants for me. My kids were like, Dad, what size are you? I'm like, child. And they're like, what? And so I actually got smaller than my 2 sons. And it was so crazy. So Julie and I got to do something that I will never, ever forget because I got the greatest gift of all as a dad. I got to fix my mistake. My mistake was never taking good care of Julie by setting a good example with nutrition and wellness. And I allowed Julie to get overweight. And now I got to correct that, not by telling her what to do. We got to link arms, and dad and daughter did it together. And we did it because not just because Julie and I are stubborn steels, you know, we had incredible support from this community. And I'm telling you, if you decide to join with us and link arms with the people who brought you to this episode of Difference Makers, I'm telling you, you have incredible support and love, and the people will help you through every step of the way. We got to go to Nashville, Tennessee, because we got inducted into what they call the 100-pound weight loss club. And it was crazy. There were 5 of us. She showed you, Christina, the picture of me and Julie on there. There's another lady in there, lives out here, works with my daughter. She lost 100 pounds. Another one of her friends, Beth, she lost 100 pounds. I got a friend of mine, a former Marine, who'd been too embarrassed to go to the Marine Corps ball after he retired, Tim Colantoni. He lost 100 pounds. And so all of us, with my sister's husband, they had us on a stage in Nashville, Tennessee. There was like 50 of us up on the stage that had lost 100 pounds in front of like 15,000 people. And you're looking around going, they're clapping for me? I'm like, this is incredible. And standing right next to me is Kenya. She's an icon in this company. She lost like 450 pounds. Her story is unbelievable. And so she's right there telling the story. I'm like, I'm getting choked up just trying to tell you guys right now of that imprint of that moment. I'll never forget it. And it didn't stop there. It's 2021. I started in 2018. 3.5 years later, I'm still the 100-pound loss guy. It's totally sustainable. I eat real food. I do real things. I even took up running after I lost 80 pounds. And that's what Christina was talking about. I played soccer a long time ago, but for like 15 years in there, I didn't run at all. So I started walking a little bit, started jogging a little bit. Next thing you know, I could run a mile. Then I started doing 5 miles. And then I entered a race. And I was hooked because I was like, we get medals? Oh, yeah. I haven't had trophies or medals since I was a kid playing soccer. So we started entering races. And it's the funnest thing ever. There's so much camaraderie out there and people, cheering, you're having a good time. I went from 5Ks to 10Ks to half marathons. Next month, I'm running my first marathon ever. It'll be the furthest distance I've ever run in my life. I've run up to 20 miles. It's going to be 26 miles. This summer, 3.5 years into isogenics, at age 59, I ran in a Spartan race. It was so fun. A month later, I ran another one. On it. There's no limits to me what somebody can do when they join this lifestyle. You will release the blinders that you've had on yourself. You will stop limiting what you can do. And I'm talking about everything. If you'd have met me 10 years ago, I was probably the most negative guy you ever met. Talk about politics, how screwed up the world is, and how everything sucks. People who know me now and didn't know me then, they're like, wait, you were negative before? And I'm like, oh yeah, you wouldn't have liked me. Like, you were fat? Lady I met today, they're going, you were fat? I'm like, oh yeah, you want to see my picture? Hey, you want to hear my story? I told my story today like 5 times. So I'm telling you, this is an amazing company, amazing camaraderie. I haven't had an organization that touched me like this since my sports days. When we play soccer, we're very tight. In the soccer community, you can speak all different languages. You can step on a soccer field and we can play soccer together. It's the international sport. The military, we don't care what color your skin is. We don't care if you're a man or a woman. We don't care if you're gay or straight. You know what I care about? Will you cover my 6? So in the military, we love each other and we take care of each other. I never thought I would experience something like that until I came here. The people in this community, they genuinely care for you. They love you. They want you to succeed and they'll do everything to help you do it. And I think I went way past my limit.
It's so good. We're all sitting here like, yes, we know exactly what you're talking about because we've seen you transform. We've seen that beginner Dana, and we see this amazing, inspiring Dana that you are becoming and you've become. And it's like the whole team. I mean, the whole freaking company is being inspired. You're the next IsaBody finalist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you are a stubborn Steele, both you and your beautiful daughter. Don't deny that. I don't think that comes with the territory. Thank you. Your story is inspiring as always. And I'm gonna have to ask you, do you know how many races you've ran? I mean, have you kept track of them? Do you have a number?
I lost track, but
That's what I
some
thought.
of the bibs from those races. I actually did a TikTok and I hung a bunch of the medals on my one arm.
Saw that.
I now have like 4 more to go on this other arm. So I might do one where it's like an eagle and I'm flying with medals on both arms or something.
I keep sending him links to races because I get them and I haven't entered, I haven't done them yet. I think Facebook is trying to tell me something and I just pass him on to Dana. He goes, yes, one more. Yes, one more. I've never seen someone so happy about entering a race. And you know what? You haven't lost the weight. You released it, man. You're not finding it.
It's gone.
It's gone. You've released it. And
that's the house.
It's gone. And I mean, I know we're short on time, but guys, his doctor is amazed by his physical and, external and internal transformation. I've, like I said, Dana is a really good friend and we chat on regular basis and I've heard more in detail of his story. And without a doubt, if this story doesn't inspire you, I don't know what would. I mean, seriously, he was badass in the Navy, and then he became lazy. Sorry, but you know, it became lazy ass, and now he took it to super badass. And you know, we have this belief that when you hit a certain age, you know, you're supposed to, you know, stuff's supposed to hurt and it's supposed to hang and it's supposed to do stuff. And he's living proof that that's no such thing, right? There's no such thing. So Dana, I love you. Happy birthday. We're gonna sing you happy birthday later. And yeah, you make 60 look like 25. And I know you can put some 25-year-old to shame without a doubt, not with just your races and your fun loving energy. We love having you as part of the team, and I love having you share your story. I wish I could, like, you know, have Dana on. Like, we should have just the Dana. Wait, hold on. We do have the Dana show. We will have the Dana show. He's actually starting his own podcast. So just be on the lookout, because he's gonna inspire you in your ears, in your face, from everywhere every platform possible. This guy is going far. So thank you. I love you. I appreciate you, and you're such an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen really quick. I believe, why is it doing this to me? I had some missed calls. Yes, I know. Stop sharing. Screen share. This one, share. Here we go. Why is it so hard? So I'm going to introduce you to another amazing gentleman. I know we're going over time, but you know what? You deserve to hear these stories. And he's retired from Air Force. We had a retired, you know, it's just, first of all, guys, both of you, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service and for everything that you've done for this country. But he was also the badass in the military, father of 3, let himself go, 59 years young, with a 6-pack. And he's been with us since 2017. Where am I? Right here. And you know, it takes work, it takes dedication, it takes following the system. We don't have a magic pill, but we do have a magic system, and we do have a support system, and we do have a team that will help and will pick you up and will cheer you on every step of the way. Just like Dana said, you know, being on that stage and having everyone cheering on for him, and it's a priceless memory. It's the same thing, guys. I mean, Steve has such an incredible story as well. I cannot wait for you to hear it. So Steve, unmute yourself and let us know what Isagenix has done for you, handsome.
Hey, everybody has an incredible story, and we get to write it, you know, and that's the exciting part. Christina, thank you so much for having me on here. It's an honor to be amongst like-minded people. And Dana, I had some challenges logging into the Zoom. I'll just leave it at that. But what I caught of your story was incredible. And, you know, it was the first event I attended when I was 2 weeks into Isagenix in Las Vegas. And I think when this whole concept of what we do here moved from my brain to my heart was when they celebrated the 100-pound club up on stage. I thought it was better than Tony Robbins myself. And it propelled me in so many different ways. And thanks for your service too. That's another total blessing. Love this country. We got our share of issues, but you know, I haven't seen anything better. Anyway, thanks for having me. I'm not sure, I was kind of a substitute, I think, coming in here and talking, but that's okay. This crossed my path, Isagenix I'm talking about, in a way that had to been divinely orchestrated. So anytime I get to share about what this has done for me, if there's even a remote possibility that it resonates with somebody, then it's my obligation, but it's also my pleasure to share that. And I don't want to bore you with my history. I did 32 years in the Air Force, and I worked hard, and I played hard. And I retired in 2014, and I was about 50 pounds heavier than what I should be. I was drinking a lot too, and I don't want to get into that, but recovery is part of my story. And to be quite frank with you, I see so many parallels in what we do in Isogenics to recovery. I'm of the opinion that we're all in recovery. All right. It's just improving self. Any decisions that we make, sometimes, you eat a little bit too much, you go for the desserts, you go for the wine, you go to fill in the blank. Okay. We all do that shit. So part of my story is drawing from the fact that my best thinking got me through a couple of marriages, a broken family, and in the rooms of AA. So who am I to really give anybody advice? But what I can tell you is that if you're here, or if you're looking at this Zoom, there's a chance you want to do something to improve your health. I think we're all kind of in the same boat. We want to do something that makes sense to us to improve our health to some degree when we just break it down. So, that's going to require a little bit of a shift in your thinking, because when I was 55, this is 4 years ago when Isogenics came along, I hadn't found a sustainable solution. And that's in 55 years. And I've been paying attention, I thought I was paying attention. So when this crossed my path and it went into my body and it started changing me, and when I told my friend who introduced it to me, when he asked me, hey, you willing to share it? You can cover the cost of your product. And I laughed at him and I made fun of him because I said, I don't sell shakes. That's my best thinking. So that quickly was, so part of my story is a spiritual experience that goes along with a nutritional experience. And through now I posted that, Christina just showed you that picture of me in my dreamy unbuttoned shirt today in front of the mirror. What that represents is, there's probably some ego there, I'm not gonna lie, but it represents 4 years of gratitude that I have a friggin' solution, because I didn't have a solution. Oh, there it is. So that was today, and then that was yesterday, I think, in the white. I thought I hit my prime when I hit 40. I really did. And I remember when I needed reading glasses to read the TV guide, I'm thinking it's all downhill from here. But that's not the case anymore. And I turned 60 in March. And I feel very grateful for the fact that I have some weapons to fight this thing that we call aging. And that's kind of been my product experience. I share it with anybody who's wants to listen. Now, I came into this to lose 10 or 15 pounds. I wasn't looking for a lifestyle. So if somebody looks at this and they're like, I don't want to, sign up with all these people and do any of that. I just want to lose my gut because I got a wedding in 3 months or whatever. I understand that. I totally understand that. But be open-minded to other things happening, because when your body gets fed really high octane fuel and given the time, you're going to think differently and you're going to have a little more clarity. And these things are going to start we'd like to say the grass is greener and the sky is bluer. But really, we all know that nutrition feeds your cells and cells make up who we are. We all know that. So give it a chance. Give it a chance. And what Dana was saying was absolutely true. Plug into the vibe. Get into the people. Get into the energy frequency. That's what it's all about, because a health journey is not meant to go alone. You need to plug in, and you need to lock arms in as much as you're comfortable with. And I'm not saying you have to make money with it, but I'll tell you what, tying my finances to my health was probably one of the smartest things I've ever done. And I don't do a whole lot of smart things. But getting paid and keeping enough skin in the game for 4 years. I couldn't do 4 weeks on a diet throughout my adult life. And I'm 4 years now, and I weigh what I did in high school. And that's insane to me. That really is. And it's available. And I was taught that. So the principles here, I would say, really lean into the community. If you're by yourself, you're not getting supported at home or whatever. I mean, everybody's got their issues. Everybody's got external issues too. Plug in, reach out, ask for freaking help if you need to. And there's a community here. Not everybody's perfect. Everybody's kind of fighting the same battle, but if you pull the rope the same way, I think it gets a little easier and we can make it. Anyway, I don't know if that's my product story or not. I guess that's my 2 cents on it, Christina.
That's your story, and that's heartfelt, and I can feel your honesty, and I can feel your love and your passion from through a Zoom alone.
Thanks, Debbie.
Just like with Dana, I've had the chance to chat with you before, and your story is inspiring. I mean, you played it on the low. I mean, I know you've been successful both, obviously physically, you can see that, but also financially. And every time, when I think of someone being successful in isogenics, I think about how many lives you were able to impact, how many lives you were able to change, right? Just like Dana started naming people, like, what, I thought of Oprah when he was talking, it's like, and he lost 100 pounds and she lost 100 pounds. It's like, you can have a car and you can have a car. It's like a freaking Oprah show, right? And you did the same thing. And it's like, by you sharing and you becoming a product of the product. And I love how you said you tied your finances to your health, right? It's like you get paid to be healthy and to teach other people to be healthy, and without having to have a degree. And nobody asks you about your background. Both of you happen to have military background, which is amazing, because a lot of people, once they get out of the military, they kind of feel like, what do I do now? What do I do now? And you found this company and you found this product that gave you that what's next, the next step in your life. And I love how you shared where you needed reading glasses. I made a doctor's appointment. I said, my arm is not long enough anymore. It must be shrinking, and she's like, what's the problem? I said, my arm is shrinking, right? I mean, there's certain things that we might not be able to help. I'm not going to tell you what Paul said. Maybe I should. So I was on the car. This is, sorry, off the subject, squirrel, but I think it's funny. Everybody needs a laugh. I was on the car speaker when I was making the appointment, and I said, and she goes, what seems to be the problem? And my husband goes, I am too beautiful and I'm hurting her eyesight. And those of you who know Paul, know what I'm talking about. That's the kind of guy he is, and I love it. But you know what? If you look at the beauty in life, if you look at and you don't give up in your life, whether it's your eyesight, whether it's your weight, whether your pant size, and I love how you guys both talked about, how you started shrinking, and Dana talked about his belt, wrapping it around a few times. There are people out there. There's Steves out there, other Steves, other Danas out there that are searching for the solution, that are looking for something. And you say, hey, I'm hitting 59 or 60 or 40 something, and I don't know where I'm going. If I keep doing what I'm doing, where the heck am I going to be in 5 years or 10 years from now, right? I can't even imagine where your life would be right now without isogenics. I mean, and especially with what's going on in the world right now, our health is our wealth. And to be able to pass that on to people and to share that, just like this, you share your story and you're going to touch a heart. And as a result, someone else's life would be impacted. You can make a difference in a complete stranger's life. They might invite them to the Zoom, and then they get back to the person that invited them. And by the way, please get back to the person that invited you to this call. If this story resonates with you, or if there's anybody in your life that you feel that could benefit from a transformation like the ones you just heard, right? And knowing that, Dana may never meet this person, or maybe one day, you know, we're at an event and said, hey, you know what, Dana or Steve, I heard you on that Zoom, and as a result, I too lost 100 pounds, right? And I too transformed my life physically and financially. So once again, thank you for your service. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing your story. I know without a doubt you are going to impact someone's life, and your story deserves to be heard. And I love how you also talked about addiction. Like, you know, we all are addicted to something. What is it? You know, we all have those things. It's like, for me, it was potato chips. And I had to divorce potato chips. Literally, I'm like, I'm going to divorce potato chips. The lady that Dana was talking about, and I'm like going off on a tangent here, guys, but I don't know, somebody needs to hear this, that lost over 400 pounds. I happened to go to lunch with her at one of the events in Nashville. And I asked her, I said, how did you manage to break this addiction with food? And I know there are people out there that have addiction, whether it's with food or with something else that is harming their life. And she said, I broke up with food. Just like you break up in a relationship and you like, when you know it's toxic and you know it's not good for you, right? You break up with it. And I broke up with potato chips, right? You don't go back and make out with your exes. You don't go back and, you know, it's like, oh, well, every time you see that, it's like, ooh, that's my ex. Like, no, I'm not going there, right? Whatever your addiction is, whatever you're in, we're here to offer you a solution. Just like I said earlier, we're here to offer you the tracks to run on. It's up to you to keep plugged in. It's up to you to love yourself enough and to see the value in you, to say yes to yourself. And as a result, you will too transform your life. And you got nothing to lose, guys. You get your sexy back or you get your money back. Our products come with 30 days money back guaranteed. So get back to the person that invited you here. I love you guys. I'm sorry we went over, but we had two incredible stories that deserve to be heard. So thank you so, so much.
Good night, everybody.